All right, looks like we are doing it. Good day, everybody. My name's Keith Allen from Material Indicators. Today, we've got something special for you. I have been inspired, I guess, by the activity in the charts today. So today, going to analyze ETH with tools for analyzing and identifying profitable entry and take profit ranges. Also, show you some tools that can be used to help you with the timing of your live trades. Before we climb in, a quick disclaimer: Material Indicators is not a financial advisor, nor am I. Nothing I say or do should be considered as financial advice of any way, shape, or form. Same with anything on our websites and platforms. Remember, trading is very risky. Consult a financial advisor and do your own research. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. Past performance does not guarantee future results. So now that that is taken care of, let's take a look at what exactly we're going to climb into today. As I said at the very, very top, we're going to analyze ETH, and maybe we'll take a peek at Bitcoin as well, because price action right now has been crazy. In fact, this morning when I started thinking about doing this, was watching all the action with ETH. And then, of course, Bitcoin kicked into gear. And I'm going to show you the tools that I'm using to help make some data-driven decisions rather than just being purely speculative or going on my gut. Because I don't know about you, but me personally, those gut instincts don't really pay off for me as much as I'd like to. Keeping the chat open for you guys, so you're welcome to ask questions. If I miss your question, then of course happy to engage with you in our community. Speaking of which, I hope you will join us in our community. We've got a phenomenal global community on Telegram. We just cracked 5,000 members, and no moon boys, no shillers in this place. Just traders trying to share information and help each other become better traders. So I invite you to come join us over there, and of course follow us on Twitter at mi_algos. If you like the content, please do me a favor, comment, like, and subscribe. I've been doing these live streams from time to time and trying to get better at them and run them a little bit more smoothly. So I appreciate your feedback. And most importantly, I hope that you get something out of what I share with you today. So it looks like we have a few people joining us already, and I will check in the comment section here from time to time to see if you guys have any questions. But we're going to run through a series of tools here today. But first, let's just start by looking at the chart and seeing what's been happening with ETH. Obviously, a lot happening with the EIP activation, of course, and that very well could be driving the price action that we're seeing today. But so could, and before I run into this chart, something else that a lot of people I'm seeing, circulate on Twitter, and of course we have our own version of that. Maybe people are playing the fractal, and obviously a very aggressive looking fractal here that we see on the ETH BTC pair that runs this up to new all-time highs and really has things shaping up, or is predicting for a big upside move with ETH over BTC over the next month or so. And who knows where it goes from there. But a lot of people, of course, watching the Bitcoin dominance and how ETH may chip away at that. Now, if this plays out, it could spell out potentially a new alt season as well. So obviously, altcoin traders watching that intently. So I want to, as I said, look at a chart and at least get a baseline for our discussion today. So let me share that screen, if I may, and we can take a look at what's happening with ETH today. Really been a pretty interesting run here, to say the very least. And you see three indicators on the actually a lot of indicators and a lot of noise on the chart right now. I'll clean that up in a minute. But first, let's just expand out to the just to the primary ETH chart. And I'll even clean this up just a bit more for you so that we can get some of these things out of the way. What you're looking at here is basically ETH and the moving averages, which obviously a very basic technical indicator that many people use. Um, the I'll even show you a little key here of what those are. The orange one here is the 10-day, or the 10, the 20 is the green, 50 is red, 100 is blue, and we have reclaimed the 100-day moving average today, or actually yesterday it looks like, which is very obviously bullish, and next target there would be moving on to the 20-week moving average. And as you see, that has actually already happened. So technically, this all spells out to be quite bullish for ETH. And you're looking at this right here. This is an ETH USDT pair, and you're looking at support here on the 20-week moving average. That's huge, absolutely huge. Now, an area up here, you see this red line, an area of prior resistance. So we could see a slowdown right here. We could see a potential rejection right from this range, but with the momentum that ETH is carrying right now, the increase in volume, and of course, for anybody who is a believer in fractals, you know, the 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 midterm view on ETH is pretty damn strong, to say the very least. Now, what are some things that I've used to trade this? And I'm going to now clean this up a little bit so we can um, see the chart a little bit better. This morning, you see I've got my MTF indicator open. And for those who aren't familiar with MTF, it is one of um, our indicators that we have at Material Indicators. And this Indy is a mean reversion indicator that actually works on a 1-minute time frame. And what this does is it calls areas that have a very high probability of reversion back to the mean. So this is a fib-based mean reversion indicator, this being the bottom line being a 0 fib, the orange line being 0.5, which is also mean, I might add, and this blue line here is the 0.618. You can see all the fibs on your chart if you'd like, but I like to customize my chart and clean it up a little bit. So this is just what I'm looking at, and you can see a perfect call from the bottom this morning, at least this morning my time. Shortly after I got up, I saw this, and it played out beautifully. I actually, if you're playing this or trading this automated, and I do have an automated by the dip bot set up for this, you would look at the mean as a possible profit-taking zone, because that's what the indicator does. It calls reversion points, and the idea is that price is going to snap back to mean. Well, we knew there were other factors that were driving this, so I let the trade go, and I'm of course glad I did. Now, if you're asking what kind of consistency this happens, and this was cool too, by the way. These red symbols right here are dump alerts, and this TP3 also, you'll notice, has a poop emoji next to it, also signaling a potential dump. And in this instance, and this doesn't happen all the time, but in this instance, we got an early warning that a potential dump was coming, and it did in fact play out into this tier 1 alert. So this is actually my second one of these signals here this week, actually. I think, yeah, there was another one here on the 3rd. That was a day and a half ago. And TradingView only gives us about a 2 or 3 week view at this resolution. So I think there was a third signal at the beginning of this run. I'm just going to scroll back and see if I can find that for you. There you go. So there was another signal that wasn't as necessarily strong as the last two I got, but it did, of course, play out into profit. Took a little longer to get there to get back to the mean, and we saw where that shifted down here on the time frame. So that is a 1 minute time frame to run the MTF indicator, and it has been extremely consistent over. We're looking at now roughly 3 years that we have been using this indicator, and we're looking at really upwards of 95% strike rate on at least 1.25% or more. It's actually closer to 97% for 1.25% or more on this tool. And I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of signals that we have been tracking and aggregating for, like I said, about 3 years at this point. Hey, Ricardo, glad to have you with me. And cheers from the Telegram group. And another reminder, if you haven't been there before, I encourage you to go to our Telegram group. We got a phenomenal community there helping each other become better traders. Quite honestly, everybody kind of watching out for each other. We have been engaged in a great discussion on whether we should be short at this level on Bitcoin most recently. But today we're talking about, or at least for the moment, we are talking about ETH. So some other tools, and I'm now going to expand out to a wider chart. Some other tools that I have been using and relying on with my trading. And I will expand this out a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. Technical analysis is always something, and we opened up looking at those moving averages, and technical analysis is always something that I rely on as kind of a baseline. So using these tools to get, to see and finding confluence between what I see in TA and what the tools are telling me is how I kind of develop my strategy and my plans as I identify setups and as my trades mature. So one of my absolute favorite tools is our trend precognition indicator. And right out of the box, it comes programmed or preset, I should say. The default settings are really ideal for longer time frames. So as you can see, green arrows are long, red arrows are short, and it has been consistently pretty damn accurate right at those settings. So this also is part of the trend precognition suite. So this is the on-chart indicator here. And I'm running here the A2 plus algorithm. Down here is also an A2 plus algo. And this shows the strength of these signals. There's a couple of ways to identify the strength of a signal. And the primary way to do that is just the length of the arrow. The length of the tail of the arrow identifies the strength of the signal. And you can see that even more defined down here where you can see the metrics. And you can, of course, adjust these parameters if you wish. But like I said, out of the box for a daily, weekly, or monthly time frame, default settings are ideal. This one is the A1 legacy algo, also trend precognition. And this is the most predictive of the trend precognition indicators that we have in the suite. The reason being, we have candle lag on TradingView, right? So these arrows are not printed until the adjacent the adjacent candle closes. So this arrow right here is actually tentative. It's a pretty strong signal, so I'm pretty confident it's going to print, but it's not actually going to print until the candle closes here in 3 hours and 44 minutes. This one has already printed. Okay, so we're seeing a tentative long here. We have a long here that's already printed, and we have a long on the A1, which is already printed. Now this line here, which I've changed to orange so I can see it better on my black screen. This line here is the trend indicator, and it moves. It moves a lot like an RSI indicator will, right? So you can see, depending on the time frame, where the trend seems to be going. And let's start by expanding things out a little bit. Okay, again, we're looking at ETH USDT. Okay, so again, we're running on a weekly long signal. that has printed and was significantly strong. Um, that was actually backing up a long signal on the A1. Okay, and we've been long on the A1, but now we're just hovering kind of sideways. Okay, which isn't giving us a clear indication. If it starts to angle down and if it crosses this blue line, it will print a short signal. If it bounces back up, that's an indication the trend's still intact. Right now, a little bit choppy. Let's see if maybe an expanded view. Okay, so on an expanded view, you can see just a little bit downward, but not significant. Let's see what the monthly looks like on that. Monthly looks good, right? So we have a uptrend here, still intact on the monthly. I'll take it back down so we can see see all three. Look, long signal, and even though the last signal, and it doesn't print monthly signals very frequently, and I could probably improve on this and see more signals if we went to a exchange that has more history to it. So let's just do that real quick and see how that changes a little bit. Okay, so trend precognition relies on history, and historically, um, uh, on Bitstamp, we seem to have the most data in history here that works well on these longer views with trend. But you can get an idea of what's happening on whatever exchange you're working on. So this is kind of the long-term view of where ETH is headed relative to USDT or USD, I should say. Let's see what ETH BTC looks like. And all right, so we're off of a short signal here, back-to-back short signals on ETH BTC on the monthly. On the weekly, there's a long and also long here, trending slightly long. And on the daily, we're seeing now this is tentative still, but we are seeing a short signal, and it's currently, and this is active live in real time, trending downward on the daily chart. So let's now move into an intraday scenario here and see what these look like. And to go to an intraday, it is highly recommended that you adjust the indicator, at least the arrow indicator, to whatever time frame you are trading on, right? So I've been playing with this for a while, and I have a different setup that I like to use for my intraday setups. And so let me make sure this one's off. And okay, so now we're going to look at a 4-hour, and the defaults on the off chart settings seem to be fine on the various time frames. So, but again, you're seeing here we have a short signal and another short signal here on the 4-hour. 1 hour is one that I really like to use a lot, and I like to use it in conjunction with VWAP as really a kind of a validation level. So as you can see, we lost the VWAP here, right? So you got a short signal. It took us down below VWAP, and I like that VWAP as kind of a secondary validator for me when I'm looking at this indicator. You may come up with whatever validation criteria you like. I don't use this as a standalone tool. I use it with everything else to help me make my decisions. Now, on the 1 hour, we are seeing that it's trending. Even though this signal is here, it's currently trending upward. Okay. And there's been a small hint of long signal here, but it wasn't anything significant, right? We're getting some hints that we could see a long signal, but nothing yet has registered significant enough to print anything. So in a nutshell, this is how we use trend precognition along with other tools to help identify what the trend is doing at any given moment and at various time frames that you want to monitor. Again, the A1 algo down here is the most predictive of them. And the reason for that is because this little area right here, this little guy right here is going to tick and change. And if I move into a shorter scenario, we might actually see it moving on the chart for us. So, if you're going to scalp or you're looking for that ideal entry or exit, using this to try and time things, and I look for confluence, right? When that confluence starts to break, you might be getting too tight. Trend precognition works better in longer time frames, but once you get a feel for it, you'll find a time frame that you're comfortable with. If you're using it intraday, and no doubt you can use it to help you along with any strategy. So if you guys have any questions throughout this, again, I invite you to put them in the chat. I'll do my best to address them. If I should miss that, then I will be happy to follow up with you inside our community. For those who don't follow us on Telegram, I invite you to do so. We got a great group over there, and we're growing, and we're growing fast, and we've got some exciting news coming up here very soon that we're going to share with the community as our tiny little team is sneaking up on our 1-year anniversary since we first released our tools. So at least, our paid tools. So we're very, very excited about that. And we're planning something pretty exciting and pretty cool for you guys. So still, there's another tool in the arsenal that I rely on, and that one has some secret. Fred likes to call it alternative data that you can find, and I'm going to show you how to find what I think is one of the most telling indicators of all that I've seen, quite honestly, that can help you hone in on really key trend data. So without further ado, let's go ahead and switch over to and I want to take another look here at the ETH USDT chart, because I have those active trades open from our MTF this morning, from the MTF signals this morning. So let's just take another quick peek, because I'm doing this live and I'm managing active trades at the same time. So there's that. There you go. And been hovering again. I'm watching this area just above. I think we're approaching a range where we could potentially see some resistance, and that's right around the 2,900 range. And obviously that's coming off of prior resistance. So let me show you another tool that we're using, and where we're going to see some confluence with what we're seeing in the technical analysis. And that would be, got to stop that screen and share yet another. That would be our FireCharts and CBD, which those of you who are in the community are no doubt aware of. Let's see. Well, we have it open to a BTC chart, so let's just take a peek at that while we have it open. And you see some significant resistance up here, about $27 million worth at the 42,000 level, and some support coming back in underneath in this 40,500 range. So I actually opened a short position right up here. So we'll see if that's going to pay off, or if some support is going to rally in here, and we're going to continue to push things up. So we're looking actually at ETH right now. So ETH, go to the ETH USDT first and see what's here. So these little voids right here, I think the exchange was switching off and online, getting ready for the EIP activation. Those are those little data holes right there, but still plenty here to work with. And what you can see, would I say that somewhere around the 2,900 range, we could see some resistance, and I think I was at 29.80, something like that. So this is right in that range, 2,900. The reason that you're not seeing it right here is because the amount of data that is available on this chart, and I think it takes 5,000, something like the 5,000 nearest orders. So this isn't showing up right here, but I'm pretty sure this hasn't been pulled yet. So I'm still operating under the impression that that this liquidity at 2,900 is still here. Either way, you see us coming into resistance in the 28.5 range, and that's about $16 million worth. This, for those who have never seen it, is called FireCharts, and it is a heat map of the order book. And it is an amazing way to identify liquidity, resistance, and support, and quite frankly, pick your targets. Now, the lower part of this chart is our Bind CVD, which is a proprietary tool we have at Material Indicators. I haven't seen anybody else with a CVD tool like this. And what this does is it bins the market orders. So up top on the heat map, these are limit orders, resting orders on the order book. Down below, these are market orders, and they're currently normalized to make it easier to identify. Up is a buy order, down is a sell order. Simple as that. This is the price line. So above is resistance, below is support. Simple as that. And so with binning, you can see that the various order sizes, orange, $100 to $1,000 orders. Green is $1,000 to $10,000. Red is $10,000 to $100,000. Purple, we call those whales, $100,000 to $1 million orders. And our mega whales, the brown orders, $1 million to $10 million orders. And you can see, and the blue here, blue is the cumulative. That's the true CVD, the true cumulative volume delta of all market orders. And so you can see, by clicking away and making the chart a little bit cleaner, you can see who's dominating the market orders, and you can see who's dominating the price action. And based on this, I would say that red is dominating the CVD. It's closest to the CVD, but it is, I think, purple that is closest to the price action. Now, let me show you something different. And I alluded to something that I think is one of the greatest and most telling indicators of the overall market trend. And let's now take a look at ETH BTC. And ETH BTC has one more class of orders that we haven't seen, that we don't see very frequently, and doesn't exist on the USDT chart. And that is these pink giga whales. 100 BTC to 1,000 BTC orders. Okay. Now, you don't see this on the chart every day because they are not very active. They make decisive moves, large moves, and they make those plays when they have confidence in the trend. So let's expand our chart a bit. As you go to the top of FireCharts, you can see that you can choose your different ranges. And we can go from daily to weekly all the way up to 3 years. Now, in this current version, which is our first release, you only see the actual heat map for for the day. Our next release, which is coming out very, very soon. I'm not going to give you a hard date because I don't want to put that pressure on Fred. But I will tell you it's coming very, very soon. You will see the heat map populated through the duration of the chart. These charts currently update and prices update on 5-minute intervals. The new version is going to be pretty close to live. The chart data may update. I mean, the heat map will probably still only update every few minutes, but the price line and the CVD lines are going to be in near real time. So let's expand out to an expanded view. And an expanded view gives you a much better perspective of the market. And you're going to notice one more order class here, which is the pink order class. I'm calling those giga whales. I haven't heard any other name, so we're going to go with that. This was the COVID crash right here in March of 2000. Actually, I take that back. The COVID crash was a little further back, and we'll get to that in a minute. This was the big rally after that. So you can see a big buy here that started this rally, and you can see they sold not quite the absolute top. They got their validation and they sold, and the market came and started distributing ever since. Now, let's take this to a 3-year view, and you're going to see even more how this one particular class of trader is really painting an overall market picture. I'm going to clear out all the others to eliminate some of the noise here so that we can really focus on what these giga whales are doing. You don't spread 100 BTC to 1,000 BTC without having some confidence in what you're doing. And it's clear that these guys know what's up. And this is a market order, so this is really one actor on each of these trades. Whether it's the same actor every time is difficult to prove, but with the consistency that they're making these decisions, it's pretty clear that they know what they're doing. So you can see they sold here, they bought. I mean, they bought here and then they sold, and it started coming down, and then they sold again, right? And then a buy here, and we see another spike, and they sold the top at that time. And then just played it, but they didn't completely divest, right? They kept some of their holdings. They increased the position at the beginning of this period right here, and this is now we're getting into the time of the COVID crash, which was March of 2020, right? So let's see, March, that was right about here. They didn't flinch. They did not flinch at that time, not on that order class anyways. Others began to unload, but they didn't flinch. Now, big buy at the beginning of this rally and a big sell right near the top. So I think this is one of the best overall market trend indicators that you can find, and it is literally hidden alternative data, as Fred likes to call it, right in this binned CBD. So even though we are all excited about, well, those who believe in fractals or trade fractals are excited and enthusiastic about the possibility of this fractal playing out. Yeah, this fractal playing out. This is a monumental move, and I would expect, certainly can't guarantee it, but I would expect that this pink class of trader is going to be purchasing if they feel like a rally like that is pending. So, hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but it's happened pretty much on all of the most significant market moves to date in the last 3 years, at least as far back as we can track with this tool. And I'm expecting to see that happen, hopefully sometime soon, if this fractal is any indication of what's going to happen. So that is in a nutshell a rundown of the 3 tools that I've been using, along with technical analysis and along with really an overall view of the market. I don't think that any tool should be used as a standalone tool. I think it's important that you utilize a number of different things to help validate your trading decisions. It's as much confidence as you have in an indicator. I don't think there's any one thing that you can go on with absolute certainty Although taking a look at that pink class of orders, there's a good chance that if I see the buy coming in from those guys, I will probably be aping into that trade either way. So if you have any questions, again, I invite you to comment or join us. Better yet, join us in our Telegram community. Great group over there. Like I said, we just reached 5,000 members, which is mind-boggling considering back in November, um, after we had launched. I mean, we're like a year into this, not even a year into this, in terms of growing our community and publicly, offering our tools. If you are interested in the tools and you'd like to get them, you can get FireCharts and MTF and trend precognition at materialindicators.com. And of course, if you like the content that I'm sharing with you here, please comment, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We are, as I said, a small team. And an early stage startup. We have been very fortunate to have a group of people that believe in what we're doing and helped us get this thing off the ground. And I'm not talking about investors that came in. I'm talking our community members that literally almost a year ago begged us to release tools that we didn't believe were actually ready for prime time. And you know what? We're not resting on what we've done so far. We're really just getting started, and we're continuing to build out these tools to really try and continue to have an edge and find alpha that gives us an edge on, and our community an edge on the market. I hope you join us. Again, you can see right down here. You can join us on Telegram right here. If you can't click on you, if you can't remember that, go to Twitter at mi_algos, and you can find the links there. And of course, we're posting charts and data there every single day. Let me check one more time for a comment here. Let's see. Keith, it's actually on this run. Yes. Well, Ricardo's asking if the whale is on this run. So let me clarify that for you, Ricardo. Let me just share that chart with you one more time, and I'll show you exactly what I'm referring to. So the pink whale, the giga whale that I was referring to, has not reappeared in this current run. Okay, so this chart is live. This chart is the current run, but we haven't seen that class of entry re-enter yet. Now, worth noting here that the brown class of whales, the mega whales, and let me expand back out to the longer chart, we can see what impact that they have had relative to price action throughout the time that we've had here. Again, we're tracking 3 years, and when I'm trying to identify what order class has been most influential over price, and make no mistake about it, I think that when whales and mega whales are showing their orders right here in a market order, they're not panic buying and panic selling. They're trying to flash a signal to the rest of the market and maybe to algos and bots to follow their lead. They may be doing it hoping you'll follow them. They may be doing it to try and throw you off. But as we click away the other colors here, it looks to me like purple wasn't really in tune to everything, and at this point started to de-risk or profit take. Let me click away some of these others here. Green, same thing, right? They bought up the whole downtrend and sold the uptrend. So, profit taking and de-risking. Red, these are less than 1,000 BTC or less than 1 BTC orders, excuse me, and also have not really mirrored the price action. I think that the brown mega whales have had the most influence on actual price action. And as you can see here, they're just a little blip starting to uptrend here again right now. And I can't say that's long enough to Let's zoom in on it. It's another cool feature here. All right, we're just getting a little uptick here, and that's this week. That's for this week's action. So not really long enough of a move to have a lot of confidence in it, but we can say that they are buying from what was a bottom for them here. So we'll continue to watch that as you look at it on a shorter time span. Let's take it to the year and see if things have changed any relative to who's controlling the price action. And again, in this view, a lot of consistency and a lot of confluence between these different groups, but it is the brown mega whales that I think have had the most influence over the day-to-day price action. Obviously, the pink giga whales were right there at the buy at the start of the big rally and dumped right near the top. So that's the action for now. And if we want to look at today and even the week, we can get an idea of what they've been doing. And they've been scalping this range. It's been opportunistic for them. So I think that gives you a good idea of what's happening. And let's look at the USDT real quick. And I'll show you, while I'm at it, I'm going to show you one more little trick, one more little tool that you can use when you're not sure, when things are not as clear cut and are a bit indecisive. One of the things that I like to do is, okay, so you can see here, these on the USDT pairs, these brown whales, these brown mega whales actually started selling and chopping, and this is just scalping to me, right? They're just scalping to me at this point. But when you're not sure what's happening, because this is a little sideways right here, and as you can see, we've been chopping sideways here at this point. One of the things I like to do is, and it doesn't always pay off, but a lot of times it does, is I want to look at the leverage tokens and see if they can give us a hint of what the underlying asset is going to do. And in this instance, it's not very clear cut at all. It's also a sideways chop here, and it looks like the down is getting on support. So there's a slight up here, but not anything that I would have any confidence in. Let's see if up gives us any indication. All right, up also finding some support here, but also resistance overhead. So we're still in this chop. So we're not getting any new alpha out of this at this stage, but there are many times that you can. So keep that in mind if you're using these tools. Again, this one's called FireCharts. If you haven't seen it before, haven't used it before, you can find it as well as MTF and trend precognition at materialindicators.com. And we have an entire suite of tools coming out. 1,000 arch angles. You can always let people test in production. Yes, we actually do let people test in production, and we did let people test in production for a very, very long time before we launched this particular suite of tools. Our premium subscribers do actually get to play with the tools prior to being released. So that's something to consider as well. Again, guys, I appreciate you following along. I appreciate everybody in the community that contributes to the content and the overall good and health of the community. We really got a great group there, and I hope that you guys will consider coming to join us. Again, my name is Keith Allen from Material Indicators. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. If you like the content, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in joining us, please do so at mi_algos on Twitter or on our Telegram group. You can find the links both on our Twitter page and at materialindicators.com. Good luck to you guys. Trade safe, trade smart.